As an ENTJ, I really love to experiment and try out new things. So I would want to know whether my dog responds to me calling his name, or does he also respond if I call him Susan, Victoria. Hello Channel Neat viewers, I am DS and welcome to another episode on Channel Neat. So this is our second pet episode in our pet series, and this episode I'm going to talk about my pet, Reuben. What's going to happen is that this is also an ENTJ episode because from here you can see how an ENTJ is like as a pet owner. A lot of you might think that an ENTJ is very strict as a person and might be a very strict owner. You might be quite surprised. I'm actually the indulgent type.
Yes. Yes, love.
So here we are, this is Reuben.
No.
So he's a Shih Tzu and he has 3 colors and he's now 11 years old.
No.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, Reuben is a free roaming dog, so he doesn't like to be held in front of the camera, so I just let him roam around. So let's talk about this dog. So I bought him when he was 2 weeks old. So one of the reasons why I decided to buy a dog was partly because of the incident that happened that I described in the previous episode. I felt that I need to make up for a mistake that I've actually committed. So I wanted to take care of a dog and learn how to be a parent in advance. So a lot of people say that if you want to be prepared for children, like real human children, then one of the good ways is to first keep a dog and see how you are as parent. So for me, that doesn't really work because I know that if I had children, then I would have been more strict with them. However, with my dog, I'm totally indulgent. It's like, okay, you want to pee there, just pee. So up to now, right, Reuben does not have official dog training. I don't believe it. So this really means that he can pee at different corners of the house and we just clean after him lor. Very indulgent, right? So it's very unlike an ENTJ parent. So we found Reuben at a pet shop very near to our place and I bought him for $1,300. So during that time, he and his brother, so there were 2 of them, all from the same mother I think. So they were positioned in different boxes, one on top of the other. And there were a lot of other girls, schoolgirls, who were in the pet shop. They were saying, oh so cute, oh so nice, you know, that kind of thing. So they were actually making a comparison. They were saying Reuben's brother was very adorable and cute. Then they were pointing at Reuben and saying, this one is not so nice. But my mom was with me and she decided that we will keep Reuben. So I thought, okay, even though Reuben at that time doesn't look as attractive as his brother.
Bruh.
And when we brought Reuben home, we found that he actually had a broken tail. But since we have already pledged to be his owner, so I loved him nonetheless, and I just accepted this dog for whoever he is. So on the first day of Reuben's arrival into our family, we actually used some fence that we bought and built a enclosure, something like a cage where he was placed inside. But he started whimpering a lot. So on the first day itself, I decided just to let him out. And I was very glad that I had this parental instinct. So after he was let out, he did not whimper anymore and was very happy and he started roaming around the house. So like many dog owners, I treat myself as the parent of the dog. So I call myself the daddy. In real life, many parents actually project their ideals, project what they want onto their children, hoping their children can actually achieve them. So in my case, I actually also project onto my dog. But of course, I'm not projecting my ideals and ambition on my dog, but my fears onto my dog. So since I was very young, I have actually been thinking about death a lot. I remember when I was 8, I started to think about death a lot. I started to feel very frightened that when I die, I no longer exist. It haunts me so much that I have panic attacks. And even until today, I still have panic attacks whenever I think about death. And because this is a very salient fear that lies inside me, I think about fear so often that I even project my own fears onto my dog. So when my dog was only 1 month old, what actually happened was I started to regret becoming a dog owner because I know that one day this dog will have to leave me because he's too old. So in a very weird way, it appears as if I am actually grieving my dog's passing on even before he had fallen sick. He's now very healthy, he's only 11, so I project that he may still continue to survive until maybe 15 to 16. And now I come to this resolution: death is inevitable and one day my dog will leave me. Rather than focus on that event, maybe I should spend more time trying to give my best to this dog. And that is what I'm doing now. So I presume that this might be a trait of ENTJs. They might tend to be very future oriented and they grieve in advance. So if you are a ENTJ or INTJ pet owner, do you sometimes have this kind of feeling? Please share with me below because I would really like to know. So this might have been the first trait an ENTJ might display as an ENTJ pet owner, but I'm not too sure about that. It could just have been me being afraid of death since I was young. So let me just give you 2 other examples of me being an ENTJ pet owner and displaying my ENTJ-ness through this process of being a pet owner. So the first is naming my dog. An ENTJ is a person who is likely to be futuristic. He doesn't like to follow what others are doing. So therefore, when naming his pet or her pet, they tend to give the pet a unique name. So personally, I do not like to name a dog something like Max, Lucky. These are very common pet names.
He's too common.
I also do not like to name a dog using the properties of the dog like Ginger, Snowy. It's very boring. So I thought about the name Reuben even before I bought the dog or even before I actually met my dog. How did I come about this name? I went to do some research. This name that I want of my dog should not be a human name. That means it must not be called something like Dylan, Robert, Peter. No, these are real human names. So I want to give my dog a dog name that sounds like a human name. So I went online to check. I didn't see any Reuben at that time. I'm not too sure whether now it has become a human name. But definitely it was not a human name that time when I actually named my dog. I did research. So I was very proud of this name because I feel that it was a very nice pet dog name. So there was once I had to bring my dog to a vet, and when we registered my dog, the receptionist was saying, "Wow, what a cool dog name." I was very pleased. Another way I showed my ENTJ-ness from my being a pet owner was through experimentation. As an ENTJ, I really love to experiment and try out new things. So I would want to know whether my dog responds to me calling his name, or does he also respond if I call him Susan, Victoria? Actually, he responds to every single name, especially when he was younger. So I think it was the intonation that he actually responds to rather than the name. But I also have some friends who are pet owners that say that the dog will respond to your name, because my friends have kept a lot of dogs before and every dog has a different name and they respond to the names that they are called. But because I only had one dog and I tried this with my dog, it doesn't work. Maybe my dog is a stupid dog. So whether my dog is a stupid dog, I'm not too sure about that. But I would say that my dog is a lucky dog. So I had won 4D a few times because I bought my dog's numbers, my dog's birthday. So I had spent $1,300 on the dog itself and maybe $400 odd on accessories, including certification. And now, because of the money that I've won from buying my dog's birthday and all things, basically my dog is a free dog. Yeah, I think I won about up to 5,000 odd already. Anyway, I have stopped buying 4D ordinary numbers for a very long time. So now I only buy for the sake of participation, and I only buy iPad. And like I only buy $1, $2. So that one is just for fun. But enough said, my dog is a lucky dog. Now sometimes I do wonder what might have happened if I had bought his brother instead of Reuben, because they were just one on top of the other, and during that time his brother was actually more adorable and cute. But as a parent, I accept my own choice and responsibility of being a pet owner. A lot of people, they keep pets because they want companionship. So my dog has been one of the best companions that I've ever had. Well, I hope that in the future episodes I will again have this opportunity to feature Reuben. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing to us. We are a psychology channel aimed to produce very different psychological material that you cannot find elsewhere. Like this episode, who produces ENTJ pet episodes? Got Matt? No, never do research. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in my next episode. Bye bye!